Hopefully in another 4 hours, we'll have this screen hooked to the dryer and ready to dry. So we're doing the Classic to Pro upgrade, and for two reasons. One reason is for remote access. The second reason is for the 4 RTDs. And I take the 4 RTDs and I disassemble them. Spin that nut off there. Put this in the box. Spin that nut on here. Take a wrench. Tighten them up. Spin that plastic fitting right into the mounting plate. Doesn't have to be tight, just snug. That will work fine. I take them thermal wells off. That way the sensor is more accurate and faster response time. If we do not give our controller good information, it's not going to make good decisions. Bad information to the computer makes bad decisions coming out of the computer. So that's why I always assemble my 4 RTDs this way. So we have our RTDs ready to go in. Now, for the reason I'm making this video, we're going to tear into the wiring. Okay. To start with, turn the power off. Then we're going to eliminate this Ethernet switch. Now we need to put this PLC slice in. You just want to go to a Quadratouch Pro dryer manual and look at how many PLC slices are needed for the size dryer that you are doing. And the only thing you need from this manual is this page right here. And this page here needs to be kept and put in the back of the Quadratouch Pro touchscreen panel. That way you never lose it. This has to be with the dryer so you know what your wire changeovers are. All you need is this paper and a Quadratouch Pro dryer manual for how the wiring goes. Do not go in and start pulling wires off like the update manual says. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a big mess and you will spend 3 times as long doing your update. Normally at this point, I would put our new stickers on here and then go through switching my wires to the right numbers. But since they did not send the stickers along, I'm going to need to write down on a paper where my wires go and then go through putting the wires in. We're going to set this paper here as a reference. And I'm going to set this here as a reference. I always do my writing on grid paper to keep my writing organized. So on here, we need our 18s, our 95s, same as it was before. On here, we need our 26A, our 6A, our 28A, and 10A, same as it was before. Okay, this is our first digital input slice. We have a 36 top left. That's still a 36. 37. Bottom left. That needs to be removed. We have a 39. We got to remove that. We have a 38. We got to remove that. 40 goes down here. That wasn't latched in right. We have a 41. If you notice, putting jumper wires. 49D is our auxiliary box motor overload, but on this dryer they have it wired with U going up there watching the motor overload. So we're going to, I jumped 49D to our 100, 200, and 300 wires because we don't have soft starts. I'm going to jump that to 18. And as you see, I just did jumpers. The 18 wire was existing here, and I just jumped it through, jumped it over there, and then I hooked up my 49A, B, and C, my 109, 209, and 309 up there. Got to eliminate that 49 wire yet. Now I'm just going over my PLC, making sure everything's wired correctly. Okay, I'm not sure who threw all my wire covers away, wire tray covers. Would be nice to have them. It'd be a lot easier to clean this up, make it look a little more professional at least. We're adding the 4 RTDs. So we're going to put our RTD transmitter here for our column RTD. Got my 1895 and 70 wire. Gonna hook this up to run the power on the signal. 70 wire we're going to take over here. Let's go up here to this last analog input card. So we don't have the right stickers for here, so I'm just going to mark this out for the time being, but I got to get the right stickers because there's going to be a mess figuring troubleshooting if we don't have the right labels on here. Comes in one long sticker, cut it in pieces, put it on each one. I've been working at this for an hour and 20 minutes, and now I'm going to go inside and see if we can make the computer communicate. Okay, so we're powering the touchscreen up for the first time. Plugged into that classic dryer where we just added 4 PLC slices. We took out one single digital input card and added a 4 digital input card, and we added 1 analog input card for the column temp. Now I didn't start installing the column temp yet, but I'm kind of anxious to get the computer up and talking, get it working, and then I will go on to installing the 4 RTD kit. We have no lights on where the Ethernet cable plugs in. Right in there, there's neither of those lights are on. So we don't have a connection. Now we have a new wire hooked up. Now we go turn the power off and back on. Turn that to off, count to 10. Turn it back to computer. Says restart failed. Okay, this dryer will do a firmware update. Now we'll see if the PLC does what it says it's gonna do. The lights didn't blink the way it said they're gonna blink, but now we have the FR and the ready light blinking together. Now this time, it should restart the computer on its own because we had previously uploaded the software. They're still blinking. We'll manually restart the PLC by turning that off for 10 seconds and then turning it back on. Now the lights are acting like they're supposed to. Okay, this dryer had a fire at weed harvest. So in plenum 2, so we have a temp to out of range. Well, we'll get that fixed up. And actually we go in here, plenum diagnostics. Plenum 2 says 480 degrees. So I'm guessing that's off a little bit. But we will go out and we'll ohm out the temp sensor and see if that's reading correctly. If that's reading correctly, we'll change the RTD transmitter. If the sensor isn't reading correctly, then we'll change the sensor. I use a step bit to drill the hole for where the sensor goes, and then I use these tech screws to fasten them to the dryer. We did that for years with tower dryers with the sensors, and that's the way I do it for these 4 RTDs also.